So, the ideas behind the design of the set for when the rain stops falling, I think for me I really decided to focus very much on the text and not look outside the text, not scan YouTube or other influences that had affected other designs. And by really focusing on the text, I started to take that apart and look at ideas that are mentioned in the play, like the French philosopher Diderot, for instance, who is being noted for one of the most influential people to create stage plays for the ordinary people. So what we see there is a shift from sort of high melodrama and sort of operatic, that high art, down to people's ordinary lives. And I think Andrew Bovell talks about him specifically in the play through Elizabeth for those sorts of reasons, about that mundaneness, the ordinariness of people's lives. So in trying to create a space that met the demands of the writer was really, really complex, because we would move from late 60s way into the future, and we needed to go from interiors to exteriors to driving cars to being on the beach. And so what we decided as a creative team was not to take on a more realistic sort of approach to that, but actually to look at sort of some of the more qualities in there, some of the sort of ephemeral nature of space, ways of really wanting to be able to expand the space, and other times really pull it in so it's very intimate, because a lot of the time in the play we're really focused around two-handers or three-handers, except for a couple of scenes where you have all the people involved, of course, which are sort of quite big, sort of balletic scenes. So it's quite a task, and so we tried to create this sort of non-linear or non-realistic sort of landscape. It could be a landscape of the mind, could be the landscape as in Coorong, it could be the landscape as in the interior of their flats in London. And I think one of the things that happens in the play, which is interesting for a designer, is that the scenes are very sort of quite set, but what Andrew Bovell has done is really interesting, is he's really focused on the transitions, people moving in and out of other people's scenes. So a person would move into the scene as the other scene was finishing, then you'd have a line that would start that scene, they'd move out, and the other person would pick it up. So those transitions became a really important sort of focus for the design, and I suppose that's where the idea we have here of the screens that can move backwards and forwards to create different focal points, different settings. A person can come in and be semi-transparent and behind the screen, then move into the full action. It gives us an opportunity, because sometimes you've got like a 1960s scene played directly on top of a 2039 scene, and then back to the 80s, and it moves backwards and forwards all the time. It's not linear in terms of its timeline. So we wanted to have that idea of opaqueness and transparency, to be able to bring people in and make them visible, and to be able to magically just take them straight out of the picture. So it really was around the challenge was around how to actually deal with the transitions between the scenes, which are really crucial to that.